I forgot too that John, I don't know if he mentioned to you about wanting to go golfing. So he's
no.
like, oh, you definitely have to do that soon. So,
Okay, if he can put up with me, I'm all for it.
oh, you can put up with him. He puts up with me golfing, and I am not. I'm not a good golfer.
Josh is not a good golfer either.
If I break 100, it's a good day.
That's about where John's at, which is average though.
Yeah,
That's
it
not
is.
like
Yeah.
that's not bad.
Yeah, I just don't play because it would just tick me off.
I get better because I used to take too many strokes and I was just hitting air. But
yeah.
they're less. It's really
Josh
hit or
shouldn't know.
miss.
Yeah, Josh shouldn't know anything about that.
No.
I do, and that's why I don't golf. So.
You had to really get at putting now, though, right?
Yes. Although
Yes.
the course we just played at, it was tough because that course was running 13 on the stimp. It was fast.
Yeah, that meant something. I'm sure. I didn't understand it, but yes, we this has been a good test, I think, of Josh's skills with the putting green back there.
We play pig.
I don't know what that is.
Putting pig, where you
It's horse essentially.
somebody takes a shot, and then the other person has to make, if you make it, the other person has to make the same shot.
Okay.
And if you both miss, but if one makes, the other one doesn't make, you get a P. The person who missed gets a P, and you do that until somebody gets paid.
That makes it sound so much more fun than just practicing putting.
Yes, it's a slight competition, but it's
Slight my ass.
There's no slight competition.
It's fierce.
Yeah, there's no slight competition where I'm involved.
Oh gosh. Okay, so first,
this will be on the off reel, right?
there we go. Yeah. We'll get John footage to work with because he does all the editing.
Okay.
So first, I would just want you to introduce yourself, however you feel comfortable, whatever information you want to share.
Okay. So now, go with the
Introduce
introduction.
yourselves.
Okay. All right. I'm Tanya Frederick. Been living in Penn Hills for about 25 years now, and it was time to get some work done in our house.
Hi, I'm Joshua Frederick, and I'm Tanya's husband.
Succinct.
Got to the point. Would you be able to speak a little bit about the project that was completed?
So we brought in Rolling Hills because we'd lived here, like I said, for 24 years. When we bought the house, the driveway was in terrible condition. And the retaining wall was falling over. And we fixed the retaining wall once on our own, which was pretty much the worst DIY thing we have ever done in our lives. Back-breaking labor. So when it started collapsing again, because we didn't know what we were doing, we called Rolling Hills to come in. And originally we were just going to have them replace the retaining wall as sort of a phase project. But as the project moved along, we eventually enveloped the driveway and the walkway into it as well. Do you have anything to add?
No, I think you covered it.
And why did you hire Rolling Hills to complete your project?
So we found Rolling Hills. We started looking during COVID, like in 2020, and we brought in a contractor who gave us a quote. And it was kind of shell-shocked, right? Like we weren't ready to move forward, and it was actually a concrete installation. So it was going to be a retaining wall like this, and then a concrete driveway, walkway, stairs. So we kind of set that aside for a while because we knew we didn't have the funding readily available. Then when we started talking about it again, we were like, well, we really can only do the retaining wall right now, or so we thought. So we started looking around for landscapers. Saw Rolling Hills was really well reviewed through Google and Angie and all the different groups, and not to make it sound like they were the only option, but they responded quickly, which nobody else did, and we took a lot of notice of that because it was really difficult to get contractors to even respond when we were sending emails and calling people to see if anybody would be willing to take on the project.
I would add, not only was it a quick response, it was a thorough response. They took the time to get some Google satellite photos and Google map pictures of our house and use that to kind of give us an initial overview of what the project would look like. Even before we asked for an estimate, they provided us with a rough estimate of what the project would entail before we even started talking about asking for a real estimate. So,
how do you feel now that the experience and the project is complete?
So it was a good project. It was a long project. It definitely took longer than we expected, but that wasn't on Rolling Hills. That was definitely on us because we kept changing our mind about what we wanted. And I guess I should also give a shout out to John and Amanda and everybody involved because we changed our minds a lot. And there was no concern about it. It was sort of rolled into the project and as we moved along. What do you want to say? I just forgot the question, honestly, so I don't know if you want to cut that out and start over again.
I would add to that and say that Rolling Hills communicated with us constantly throughout the project. When they ran into issues, they were upfront about the issues, why the issues had arisen. Most of the issues that we ran into were discussed as possibilities up front before we started the project, so we were well aware that there was the potential to run into that. So even though the project grew in cost, it was not unexpected, and we appreciated that honesty up front. And throughout the entire project, as Tanya said, the project grew beyond the initial scope, but that was in some part because Rolling Hills was patient with us and explained the incremental cost of delaying parts of the project and how we could actually save more money by rolling everything into one big project instead of delaying things. I don't know if that...
Good use of rolling.
Nice, yeah.
We both did it.
Oh, yeah. Well, and the other thing that I would note on there is, when we... for people who aren't viewing, when we started taking things down and looking at the retaining wall here, it became quickly apparent that we were probably going to need to do some reinforcement that we weren't initially thinking of doing. And even that was presented as, we recommend this. You don't have to do it, but we would recommend it. And there was a thorough explanation, not only why it was important to do the reinforcement, but as well as what the actual mechanics of the reinforcement were. So a lot of contractors just sort of say, well, we need to do this, and that's what we're doing. And, that it wasn't the case with Rolling Hills. There was a good explanation all along of what was happening.
And finally, I would finish by saying, throughout the process, there was always a thorough explanation of why things in the project needed to change. And while I feel Rolling Hills may not be the cheapest alternative you can find, I feel confident that we got the best quality work we could get, and that the work we had done is going to last a lot longer than if it would had we gone a cheaper route.
Definitely the best value by far. So price is just one factor, and at the end of the day, I'd rather pay a little bit more once to do it right than to have to do it and then do it again and do it again.
How do you feel now that oh wait, I already asked that question. That was what you were talking about. Is there anything that you would change?
Yes, but on our end, I would just start with the entire scope of work to begin with. So we thought, okay, we can't afford to do this all at once. We're going to start with the retaining wall because we knew the retaining wall needed to be done before the driveway. I wish we had just decided in that initial scope of work to do everything all at once. I think it probably would have saved Rolling Hills some aggravation and probably might have saved us a little bit of money too. So, that's the only thing that I would do differently. Also might have them do the stairs, but that's water under the bridge now. Anything you'd add, honey?
I was just going to add on the stairs.
Would you hire Rolling Hills again, or if you did, why did you hire us again?
Yeah, so we would definitely hire Rolling Hills again. We have hired Rolling Hills again, and we will hire Rolling Hills again. After this project, they put in a putting green in our backyard, so we were excited to be sort of the beta testers for that. We also have grand plans, so we talked about scope of work here a little bit. We did the driveway, we did the walkway, but we actually want to extend the walkway around to the backyard, put in some steps back there, so that's hopefully a spring 2024 project. So absolutely, we would hire again.
I would absolutely hire Rolling Hills again. Let's try that again. I would absolutely hire Rolling Hills again for any outdoor project that we have now and in the future.
Yeah, let us know if you ever start doing indoor projects too. So.
that right there though. That's awesome, because John and I talk about that sometimes, that our goal is to be a contractor that people would say, I wish you guys did blank or blank, and that the experience is that positive and memorable. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah. I'm not just saying this for the recording. I think you guys have been the best contractors we've ever worked with.
Absolutely.
Hands down.
Absolutely.
Thank you. That means a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, and we've had a lot of work done to our house over the last 5 years or so, once we kicked the kids out of the house. We're empty nesters.
And we want to give a shout out to Amanda specifically for talking to us intelligently through the project, and is probably one of the few project management people that we've worked with that hasn't tried to mansplain everything to my wife, who's really the decision maker in most of this. And so she treated her like a person and not somebody who had to be taught how to do most of these things, because Tanya was probably far more familiar with this type of work than I was.
Yeah, and that's a chronic issue when we're bringing in contractors, is they want to talk to him, mm-hmm. or they want to tell me, just the bare bone minimum of what's happening, and I'm not going to sit here and say I have any sort of contracting experience, but, I definitely grew up, my father built our house from the ground up, like literally poured the foundation, so I've been around a lot of these types of projects. I know what goes into the mechanics of building a lot of things, so it does get very frustrating dealing with certain contractors that just either say, well, can I talk to your husband, or just provide as little detail as possible. So that was very much appreciated with Rolling Hills. I definitely felt like it was not being dumbed down for me just because I was female, and I'm not trying to make it all gendered, but I think it's pretty accurate in contracting. I see it a lot. So yeah, very much appreciated.
You're welcome. These are projects that should be once in a lifetime kind of projects, so I wouldn't expect you or any homeowner to know all of the ins and outs, because just like you guys know your craft really well and the ins and outs, I have no idea what you do. It's all foreign to me, so everyone has their niche, and you shouldn't have to, you want to be informed, and you both are informed, but you shouldn't have to know every little detail and to have to check up on what's happening, or to be completely educated on it, because that's the whole reason why you hire a specialist to come in and do it.
But we knew enough that, some of it was just, yes, I have some knowledge, but again, you informed us enough that when we were coming out and looking at the progress, we could say, oh yeah, this is what's happening now, and we knew exactly what was going on at any given time, and that was appreciated.
It never came across, I can't emphasize enough that a lot of the issues we ran into from the get-go were described as potential issues from the get-go. So it never came across as we were lowballed and then all these reasons why we have to keep paying more. Yes, we did end up having to pay more and pay more throughout the project, but it was always optional. It had most of the potential issues that we ran into were explained and described up front as being a potential issue. And when we ran into them, we were prepared, and we knew to expect that to be a possibility. Hopefully that helps.
that was all fantastic. And Josh, you talked more than I thought you said you were going to talk.
That doesn't mean you're going to want to use it.
How long do you think you guys were talking for?
15 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably about, yeah.
Is that about right?
Yeah, it was 15.
Did we give you
Is that
good
too
stuff?
much?
Oh, it's awesome stuff. It's,
Okay.
You guys have been incredible. Just like you preemptively said things and did things that at least me, I'm usually too timid to ask, and you guys have volunteered yourselves to just put it all out there. And
I assume you're done with the mics, by the way.
oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah, sorry.
No.
Just didn't want to take them off.
I don't want to sweat all over it, which I'm already doing.
Oh,
so.
you're fine.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry about it.
Sorry.
That's good. All right.
Well, we really.
Oh, there is the light was on.
Yeah, anything we can do to help,